John Eripola here with My MMA News, and today I have the pleasure of talking with one of the top welterweight fighters in the world. He's currently ranked number 13 according to the official UFC rankings. I'm talking to Belal Muhammad. Let's bring Belal in here. How you doing, my man? How's things out there in Chicago?
Good, man. We haven't had any snow yet, so just praying that it still don't come. But other than that, been pretty decent. Just stuck in quarantine right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, as far as snow goes, last week here in Pennsylvania, we got about close to a foot and a half. Some people, I think, got up to 2 feet. It sucked. It was a lot of shoveling for 2 days there. So I hope the snow never comes that way because I never wish snow upon anybody because shoveling snow absolutely sucks. But I do want to ask you, though, you were supposed to fight this past weekend for the final UFC card of the year. You tested positive for COVID-19. That was a big storyline last week. So please, we want to put your health up in the front there for everybody. Just how are you feeling now with these COVID-19 symptoms?
I feel like I've gone through the worst already. I had really bad chills, really bad body aches, um, really bad cough. But I feel like all I got a couple symptoms left, just a cough. So I'm hoping that within the next couple days I'll be able to go back to work and start training again. So hopefully soon.
So now, did this come as something like a complete shock to you? Like, were you out in public that you could have gotten it somewhere, or were you, for the most part, that you had a fight coming up? Are you keeping yourself far away from everything, and this was a complete shock that you got it?
Yeah, that was the crazy part because I was like literally not seeing people. I was having people, oh, let's come over, we'll watch the fights here, and I'm like avoiding everybody. Just literally going to the gym and going home, and like just being extra cautious, like literally doubling up my vitamin C, vitamin D supplements for the last like 2 weeks before training camp was up. Just because I was nervous about it, just because you saw so many fights getting canceled on the day of, and I was like, I don't not want to be one of those fights. But everything happens for a reason, so there's really nothing I could have did. So it was like one of those where it was heartbreaking, but it was like God has a plan for everything.
And now, if you could just to clarify for everybody out there, you weren't in Vegas. Like the UFC didn't test you for this. This was something like you were getting ready to fly out to Vegas to start going through the whole UFC protocol when all this happened. Correct?
Yeah, they tested me that Wednesday. They send you an in-home test on Wednesday, and I passed that in-home test. But literally, I just woke up Sunday, uh, like in the middle of the night, like at 4 a.m., and my body was just like shivering. And like I was literally the night before just packing and stuff, getting ready because I was going to Vegas on Tuesday. So then I woke up Monday just like something's wrong with me because I'm literally shivering in the middle of the night, and like I literally felt like the best, the strongest I ever felt that whole week because it's fight week, so like you're at the healthiest, strongest point of your body. And then I was like, I don't want to go to Vegas and get tested positive on Tuesday and then have to drive back home because you can't get back on a plane if that happens. So I'm like, let me go find a place that does rapid testing in Chicago because obviously something's wrong with me. And then I went, found a place. It was like 170 bucks. And then, yeah, they gave me the results within an hour and they said you're positive. So I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and fly down to Vegas and then get on a plane with people, put people at risk, and then have to drive back home.
Yeah, so obviously that was obviously a very smart thing, a very noble thing of you to do too, to not put other people at risk there. I guess now, from the time that you get the positive COVID test, do you have to then like call up the UFC and be like, "Hey guys, I just got tested. I'm positive." Like, how exactly was the process then from the time that you tested positive to letting the UFC know what's happened?
Well, when I first woke up in the middle of the night, just with chills, I called my manager and I was like, "Is there a way the UFC could send me another test?" Because they actually sent me another COVID test, so I had an extra one. So I was like, "Is there a way I could do this COVID test and overnight it to them without me having to go down there?" And he's like, "Oh no, if you're sick, we're not fighting." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know if I have COVID. If it's just a regular cold, I'm gonna fight. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna pull out of a fight unless it's COVID and have to pull out of a fight." Uh, so then he just said, "Well, find a rapid test place in the area." And then once I found it, I sent it back to him. And then from there, he handles it from there. Like I don't really got to do nothing.
So now, obviously, we know what happened there. The fight couldn't happen. Now I know the plan is to fight again as soon as possible. You were supposed to fight Diego Lima. Is that still what you're looking at? Is to rebook that fight and let that be your next opponent?
I mean, that would be like the easiest set, just so I don't need to have to do another full camp. I already went for a camp through him, so if it ends up being him, it'll be something we could reschedule a lot quicker than any other person. But basically, it's just waiting to see how my body reacts because I know a lot of guys who've gone back to training and they haven't been still been the same. So I don't want to sit there and rush it. I was sitting there trying to push it to January 16th right away, but then I don't want to. The worst thing I could do is pull out twice. So I don't want to sit there and say I'm going to do it January 16th. I feel good, and then my body's not back to normal, and I have to pull out again. So I said I was going to wait to see once I'm actually fully back to training, and then we'll figure out a date and see if he wants to. If not, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm the one that's ranked, so like for him, it'd be his best interest to wait to fight a ranked guy. Uh, for me, like I don't really gain anything from this fight anyway, so it's like if he wants it, I'll give it to him. But if not, I'm fine with that. I don't have no ill will or anything toward him. Where I need had Diego Lima to fight Diego Lima.
Yeah, I'm glad that you just brought up the rankings there because that's exactly where I wanted to transition to with all of this. You're in a spot now, you've won 7 of 8 fights, and it took forever just for you to get a ranking in front of your name. What's it going to take for you to finally fight somebody that's ranked higher than you for a change?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the heartbreaking thing about this fight because you always have a plan. You have a plan. My plan for 2020 was to get into rankings and fight a ranked guy. I got into the rankings and beating Diego would have set me up for a ranked fighter next because I would have been a higher ranked guy and number 13. So like it only makes sense for me to get a ranked guy next. And I was like just seeing what the UFC puts in front of me and if they wanted me to still fight Diego or hopefully get a ranked guy, but regardless, I got to beat the guy in front of me anyway. So uh, he put me a couple steps back this COVID thing. So like if it is Diego, I got to go out there put on a performance where it's going to make the UFC say want me to fight a ranked guy next. So I'm hoping that everything just goes smooth from there.
And Bilal, I want you to bring to your attention now, also along these ranking lines. So, quick little side note here. The very first UFC event I ever attended as a fan was UFC 213 out in Las Vegas. It was International Fight Week. You were on that card. The very first time I ever covered a fight was at Utica, New York. It was a fight night. You fought on that card as well. And actually, back then, I asked you that night in Utica, New York. I believe at that point you were on a 4-fight winning streak, and I was like, "Hey, you've won 4 in a row. Do you think it's time for you to crack the rankings?" And you pretty much said, "Yeah, I do. It's about that time. I'm on a winning streak. I never felt better." That was a couple years ago now. That was at 2017, 2018 when that happened. So, I mean, do you feel that you haven't gotten the respect that you deserve until now that you finally cracked the rankings?
Yeah, it's one of those where the only thing you really could do in the sport is just win and prove yourself from your last fight. I mean, you've had guys like Tony Ferguson who's been on 9-fight win streak and still have never got a real crack at the title. It's all about timing a lot of the time and uh, just stuff falling into the right spots. Where like you see like a guy like Gilbert Burns who literally came into the welterweight division, caught a couple quick wins, and then took a couple short notice fights, like, and then won those short notice fights, and they got him bigger opportunities against Damian Maia and Woodley. Now he's fighting for the title, and it's literally only been like 5 fights that he's had at welterweight. So to me, I don't want to sit there and get frustrated about it. Uh, I feel like it'll all come at the right time, especially during these COVID times where guys are pulling out uh, left and right. Uh, uh, you never know. Like for me, I just want to stay ready and be willing to say yes to if any of those bigger name, big fights opportunities come at me.
And now, also too, from those 2 fights that I just mentioned, one of the things I took away as well, your walkout song, "We Ready" by Archie. Is that still the walkout song? Do you still come out to that?
Yeah, I was literally gonna walk out to that one for this one. That's one of my favorite songs that gets me hyped up.
Yeah, the funny thing is when I heard that, I'm not super, super big like into rap music. So when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, this song is awesome. I'm pumped." So I added like to my gym playlist. And I was coaching track at the time. And I was telling all the kids that I coach, I was like, "Oh, guys, I've just started listening to this new song when I work out. Maybe you guys should try, before a meet or something to get ready." And they're like, "Coach, that song's really old. So I guess I'm behind the times."
I always listen to old school songs. I don't like these new school raps and stuff like that are all like weird. They all have weird lyrics. Like the old school raps, those are the ones I always listen to.
And another thing too, now obviously from those fights too that took away, and that's not music related here. I believe it was the Utica, New York fight when you were doing your post fight interview. The big storyline there was you went through a whole camp while you were going through Ramadan, obviously where you don't eat from sunrise to sundown. And you just talked about, a little bit of the struggle of going through a camp during that time. Is that something that you would ever do ever again? Because that just sounds like torture. It's bad enough you're cutting weight to begin with, but then you can't even put anything into your system, for the time that you're in training.
No, but yeah, it all depends on like timing and the fight opportunities. Uh, this year it's going to be in April, so I'm hoping to at least get in one or maybe two fights before then, to where I won't have to do that. But like to me, I train during that time anyway. The hard part is just cutting weight during that. So it's like if I don't have to, then yeah, definitely don't want to. But and especially now being in the rankings, you want to be smarter and take smarter fights, and do the right opportunities for you. So like you don't want to do that and put yourself at risk of losing just because you weren't fully trained or fully prepared because you weren't eating during training camp.
So I know we just talked a lot about the fight game there, talked a lot about COVID. Before you head out, though, I do want to allow you to give a big shout out to the Annika Florian podcast because I know you have a game show that you do with that. So why don't you just explain it to everybody out there? If there's somebody that's not familiar with the game show that you host with that, you put it into your words because you can do it a lot better than I can.
Yeah, for sure. We call it a showcast. We bring in big name. We have some huge names come on the show. We had Dustin Poirier, Chris Weidman, Frankie Edgar, Gilbert Burns. They come on the show, Michael Bisping, and it's just basically two guys, and it's just a game show aspect where it's categories. You pick a category, you get the question right, you get points for it. Usually the categories are all fun stuff, more like filtered faces and face smashes. So guys really have a good time with it, and it opens them up a little bit because we usually have an interview portion at the end. And then the loser of every show does a mean tweet. A lot of it's usually hilarious stuff. And then they'll randomly do it have to post it on Twitter. Can't say it has anything to do with the show. They just have to post it like they came up with it. And it's just fun time. I like it. Just wanted to try something different. A lot of people got normal podcasts, interview podcasts, and just wanted to be different and just give people a different look into fighters.
And how'd you even get involved with doing this whole entire thing in the first place? Was this something that just clicked one day and you ran with it, or did somebody present you with, hey, we want to do this, and you'd be the perfect person for it?
Well, John Anik wanted me to do a podcast, a normal podcast under their John Anik, the Anik Florian podcast. But then I would used to do game shows on my Instagram Live, that I would just like I could click people in on my Instagram Live with me, and it'd just be random fans and random crowds, and I would like give out prizes and stuff right when the COVID started to hit when it first hit, and I literally like give out like cash apps, like $10 cash apps, $20 cash apps, and then people have to just do random stuff, like literally like I told them like you had to drink a raw egg or you had to do the cinnamon challenge, and then people really loved it, so it was like fun. So I was like, you know what, let me do this with fighters. When John Anik brought that one to me, and I was like, yeah, I just wanted to do something different. He's like, yeah, no, it's your show. Do whatever you want with it. We just think it'll be cool for you. So it's been awesome. I think it's been cool. A lot of people are liking it, and hopefully it picks up.
And then one last thing too before you roll out that I want to make sure that I ask you about over the summer when you fought, you brought attention to the protests that were going on in Chicago, and it affected your family personally. Your family's business ended up being destroyed from the protests. Just how's everything going with that? Is there I guess like a light at the end of the tunnel? You guys back up and running? What's the latest with that?
Unfortunately, we had to keep it closed. We closed it down. Just been rough times for just like any small businesses in the Chicago area, especially now, uh, with like the mayor and everybody just closing stuff down anyway. So, like I said, everything happens for a reason. So, it just gives us different opportunities to look at other opportunities. So, we're looking at doing different things right now, and hopefully, we can get the ball moving on some other stuff.
No, well, I'm sorry, and I hope that once things get up and running, you guys get back into the swing of things and things go well there. Bilal, one other thing too before you roll out, do you want to plug your social media, management, sponsors, anything along those lines? Please feel free to do so.
Thanks for having me, bro. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at BullyB170, And our show is every Thursday night. We're not having it this week. We'll be back up and running next week. Thursday nights at 7:30 Central Time. Appreciate you.
Well, there you have it, everybody. That was Belal Muhammad. Best of luck to him in 2021, and hopefully he starts feeling a little bit better there. I know he saw some COVID symptoms in that, but we're looking forward to seeing him get back into the octagon in 2021, and looking forward to see fights again. I know we're off in a little bit of a downtime now, but hey, fights will be coming up soon. And as always, before I roll out, just want to remind everybody, subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can see more interviews just like this. And also, keep going to MyMMANews. Great content coming out there on a daily basis as well. We'll see you later, everybody.